This is the crazy part. They loved my music. They didn't let me preach in the pulpit. No, it was kind of like, great job. Now leave the real work to us.
Well, isn't that wild what a label can do? A gospel rapper, it's like, actually, bro, if you wouldn't have heard that, you would have just heard rapper, you might have listened to this, and it could have changed your life, and you would have just actually really enjoyed it.
And I send a tweet to a rapper, a little known rapper at the time, because he put out this song called The Faith. And I thought, man, he's talking about faith. That rapper's name now is Kendrick Lamar.
This ain't weakness, this is meekness.
Yes, you hear
stop
me.
Trying to do bars with Lecrae.
It was cool. That's good.
That was a good one. It just came to me.
Whenever you're making music that's us versus them, that's not of Jesus. Jesus was never us versus them. Christians should be us for them.
Hey, it's Rich, and you're listening to the Mature Me podcast, weekly content devoted to all things life, leadership, culture, and faith. Thank you for taking some time to tune in. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on all our social channels so you don't miss a thing. Let's listen to today's episode. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Mature Me podcast. My name is Rich Wilkerson Jr. Wherever you're at in the world, we're so grateful that you are tuning in. Thanks for taking a moment right now to listen to this or watch this. If you're on YouTube, of course, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the things, all that stuff is so very, very helpful. But this is the podcast that we talk not just about really growing old, but growing up, maturing. And the way that we do that is through conversations, through people that we admire, that inspire us, learning from their life, not just the good moments, but even the difficult moments. And today, I got to be honest with you, we've had some incredible people on the pod before. But I'm going to tell you right now, I just think that the man that we have today might be the most accomplished by far that we've ever had. He's a Grammy Award winner, a Dove Award winner, New York Times bestseller. He's a husband. He's a father. He is the president and founder of Reach Records. He is an influencer, a podcaster. I mean, bro, the list goes on and on and on. But this is a friend of mine that I really admire and love. We've got none other than Lecrae on the pod today.
Thank you.
Let's go, man. I can keep going with the accolades.
Yeah, one of the accolades you forgot is he's an avid user of ibuprofen because his knees hurt.
Let's go.
Getting older and jumping around on stages. But other than that,
let's go. So ibuprofen's your drug of choice?
Yeah, ibuprofen, man. It gets the job done.
My wife told me yesterday, because I like to dabble into Tylenol every once in a while. And I guess there's a whole thing right now with Tylenol.
There's a thing about Tylenol.
And you would know about this because you're a more mature man than I am. So I'm going over to Advil and Aleve or something. That ibuprofen life, man, I'm going to tell you, sunglasses and Advil.
Hey.
Last night was mad real. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Mad real.
How are you?
I'm good, man.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Absolutely. Had to do it. Come on, man.
I'm so happy. You're in Miami. You're on tour right now. I haven't seen you probably since 2019. People might not know this, but one of the things that is incredible about you, like there's so many different talents that you have. I feel like anything you do, like when you do it, you're just great at it. And we're going to talk about that at some point today. But one of the things that I feel like I wish you did more of is preach, because you're such a gifted preacher, and you preached at VOUS like 2 different times. And we're so grateful. We're going to get you to come back.
Yeah, well, people, take a chance on a music artist in the pulpit. You did. And I
taking a chance
here,
Lord, right? Those were our best Sundays ever. Those were powerful Sundays.
No, I love communicating, and I think music is just a medium for it. So communicating, like speaking, I really enjoy it. It takes a lot out of you. I didn't realize that until my hat goes off to you, pastors and preachers, because that is like, man, that takes more out of you than you realize. But I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take us a little bit back, because I actually don't know all of your story. Like, I do want to talk about a lot of things you're doing right now, but there's so many areas of your life that I just stand back, like from afar, just so impressed. And I really do mean that. I think that like whatever you put your hand to, you do it with like all your effort and all your might, but there's also like this grace zone of gifting that's like special. Take me like just how you even got into where you're in. Like how'd you get saved? How'd you get into music? Take us on that journey a little bit.
I grew up in this, very dysfunctional environment, right? So I got this mother who was raised in church. She was raised in a Pentecostal church, but it was extremely legalistic, and there was a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of things that were hypocritical that happened to her. So it drove her away from church. So she did not raise me in church because she was afraid of that. So I was raised like a free thinker, just exist, just live life, and you know, born. My dad early on got addicted to drugs and, you know, was out of the picture. So my mom's raising me by herself. She's this young lady who got pregnant, didn't know what she was doing, trying to figure life out on her own. And I'm just kind of running through life trying to figure it out. The interesting part is that I don't know where the talent comes from, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, my mother's immensely, like, she's brilliant. She's a thinker. The thinking part definitely is from her. But the talent part, I'm not sure. But I do know in kindergarten, there was an audition for a school play. And I remember the teachers being like, this kid is a shoo-in. Like, he's got it. And that became, like, for me, a way to gain a sense of acceptance.
Okay.
Like, let me perform so that I can, because my dad left me, right? My mom leaves me at home every day because she has to work. So I'm not getting that validation, that hug, that like, you matter, you're somebody, like a kid should get consistently. So I was gaining my self-worth from performing.
Yep.
So now I'm doing the school play, and then I'm rapping in the cafeteria, and then I'm doing talent shows, and anything where I can express myself talent-wise, like pick up an instrument, do whatever, that's kind of where I was gaining my sense of validation and acceptance, especially in this broken world that I was living in. And you know, I think by teenage years, high school, you start thinking about, well, what is my purpose? What am I here for? What's the meaning of life? And I'll never forget, I was pretty wild, you know, running with a wild.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wild. So I was a wild guy, talented but wild. So we can get into all those stories, but I don't want anybody to get arrested.
Right.
Allegedly. But long story short, I just had run into a wall. And when I hit the wall, I was like, maybe I need God. And my mom said, you probably need God. She was tired of me. And she gave me a Bible. She was like, just read this. And it was like, that was a big step for her, because she'd been abused by church. And I'll never forget, I tore the pages of the Bible out, like right in front of her. And I said, I don't want your God. Wow. And threw the pages of the Bible on the ground. Darkness, man, demonic influences, I'm sure of it. And but it left me depressed in a dark place. And man, I'll never forget, I decided, I had a dream, and God, I believe God spoke to me in a dream. He showed me a vision of a building, and the building had a gold dome around it. And I was like, what the heck is this dome? And this is back in the 1900s when we were kids.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
I went to the library.
Yeah. Got an encyclopedia.
Yeah, and that's exactly,
what is it they're speaking of?
That is exactly what So I was like, what is this
had to
dome?
go to D.
And I started looking it up, and it was the Dome of the Rock, which was in Israel.
Yep.
And so I had never seen it before, but I saw it in a dream, and then I saw it in this book.
Wow.
And so it made me say, you know, oh shoot, there's a God. I was 17. I stumbled into a church just on my own. I drove myself.
It made you believe because it was a prophetic dream in terms of you're seeing something that you had no other recollection of. Saw it in a dream, find it in a book.
Yep.
Someone speaking. There's a creator.
And here's the crazy part, bro, as you say that. This is the crazy part. A 17-year-old non-believer, I was more open to the mystical, supernatural than I was as a 30-something-year-old who knew the Lord and was reading the Bible. You know, that's the thing. I love that about Gen Z right now. They're open to spirituality, to mysticism, whatever. There's something out there. And I think some of us have gotten cold and stale and rigid, and we don't believe in the power of God anymore, and that he works through things and miracles, and we just have gotten so
rigid.
Yes. So anyway,
boxing God in.
Oh my gosh.
Our systems.
Exactly. Like you got them in a box. And I didn't have that at that time. So I was really open, and I was desperate. And man, I stumbled into a church, and I didn't get saved that day, but a woman asked me, are you saved? And I said, no, because I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't know the lingo. And she was panicked, like, you know, and I just knew that whatever saved was a big deal, because this woman is panicked. She's like, come on, let's pray.
We got one.
Yeah, like we got to pray. But I ended up getting saved like a year and a half later, you
Okay.
know, and just going to a church conference and heard the gospel, and the talent component, you know, was an interesting deal because I thought I wanted to be an actor. I saw this movie called Die Hard
Great one.
with Bruce Willis,
My favorite Christmas movie.
and I said I want to be him. I was like, whatever, I want to do that.
Yep.
So I auditioned for a scholarship in theater, and I got a full ride to the University of North Texas, and that was my trip to college. I thought I was going to be an actor.
You were going to school. You got a scholarship for acting.
Yep.
See, that don't surprise me.
Yeah, listen, but I didn't realize I had to learn about Shakespeare and stuff. I just want to be Bruce Willis.
I don't
bro.
want to know about the Golden Globe
That's
Theater
what I'm
and
saying.
open airs.
I didn't know that.
To
So,
be or not to be. It's
see,
like, get out of here with this stuff, bro.
I want to be like,
I just want to do. I want to.
Ho,
I want to
ho,
have
ho.
Planet Hollywood.
Merry Christmas.
I want to marry Demi Moore.
You know what I'm saying?
And I want to be bald and still be accepted. How does that work?
and blow stuff up in movies. You know
How
what
can
I
you
mean?
make an action film and be considered the top 10 Christmas film? I don't know, but it's true.
It worked.
Die Hard 3 really changed my life as well.
It was, man, the Spirit of God moved.
He's a great man. Bruce, if you're watching, you're a real one.
Shout out to Bruce Willis, man.
So when you go off to school,
Yeah.
and you had this, you got saved. Was this like transformation? You're a different guy. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
you're on fire for Jesus when you go off to school.
I'm like, people don't know me anymore because I was a wild guy. I got in
Yep.
trouble. I got arrested multiple times before this.
What are you getting arrested for?
Stupid stuff. You know, I got ADD. All
Yep.
right. So you're very impulsive when you got ADD, right? So it wasn't like I was trying to be like a gangster. It was like I thought it was fun. It was a
Okay.
thrill. So, you know, I got arrested early on because a friend of mine had a BB gun. It looked like a real gun.
Yep.
And this is like, I'm like 8th grade at the time. And I'm like, yo, this is like a real gun. And I was like, I wonder would this scare somebody? And so I jumped in the middle of the street and pointed it at a lady in her car. She freaks out. And I'm like, this is amazing. This works.
This is a felony. right? Like,
Right. So it's like 10 minutes later, get on the ground, get on
called
the ground.
5 to 10. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
So that was, you know, first go round. And then,
dear Jesus.
yeah, so it was, you know, stupid stuff, petty theft, like just dumb stuff, you know, by the grace of God.
You weren't like in organized crime. It's more foolishness.
Stupid stuff.
Yep.
Stupid stuff. You
Immaturity.
know, immaturity.
Immature me.
Yep. Just being dumb.
Immature me will put you in jail
It will.
and get you arrested.
It will.
So you're radically different. You're
Yeah.
at school.
Yep.
How do you start rapping for Jesus and like when's that thing like, oh, this is going somewhere?
So I always rapped. So that was the thing. I rapped since elementary school.
Do you have any like old mixtapes out there that we never heard?
You've never heard them, but I have them.
You have them.
Yes.
And are you just dropping F-bombs? And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
do you think you rap better when you can use the F-bomb?
No. I was worse back then partially because you're honing your craft.
Okay.
And I think just saying a bunch of mindless stuff actually hinders you from getting better. When you have to figure out how to weave in
Very good.
truth,
Yep.
you get better at your craft. So it wasn't good. It was stupid.
Okay.
Like if you go back and listen to it. But there was talent there. So, you know, I had a little group.
I think you should do some reactions to some of your old mixtapes.
Ooh, it were bad, bro.
I think you would kill that.
They were bad. I'll do it.
I
I'll
think
put
you
some
should-
stuff out there.
I think you
They're
should
bad.
do some bleeps. That'd be awesome.
Oh, it's
So
so
you were
bad.
always rapping, and then
Yeah, I was always rapping. And I was, you know, the funny part about it is my mom supported me the whole way through, even though I was talking about a bunch of nonsense. And I was just really good. It was just like something I could do. But I didn't take it seriously. You know, it was kind of like I wanted to pursue it, but more than anything, I wanted to produce. So I saw Pharrell and I wanted to be Pharrell as a kid. I was like, I want to be that guy. What he's doing is what I want to do. And when I met the Lord, I was an avid music collector. I had every rap CD you could ever. CDs, by the way, kids, are these things you put in the machine and it plays the music.
I miss CDs, man.
So people don't know what they are. I showed my daughter a cassette tape and I said, you know what this is? She said, yes, you play movies on that.
You're like,
and I was
we have an old little CD player and I pulled out my CD collection and my boys throw that thing on there, you know?
yeah.
You just and also back when I was a kid, like the most random, you go from like Blink-182 to Tupac, you know? I've got like Twista, and I've got like Garth Brooks. It's like, who are you,
As an
bro?
MTV kid. You're part of the MTV
right?
generation.
I guess so.
Because you had to listen to everything to get to the thing you wanted to get to.
Yeah,
so
it's just
I
like-
know random Bon Jovi songs because I had to get to, I got to listen to Bon Jovi to get to Tupac.
There
So
you
it's
go.
like, you just become a fan. You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
And my dad used to find CDs that we'd leave in the car, and he'd break them and leave them there on the like console, like just to let us know that he broke it. Like, why are you listening to this trash? This is devil music. And, you know, he's a good dad.
Yikes.
Broke
Yeah.
one of your CDs. No, I'm kidding. Like broke my Christian record. No, he broke my MXPX record. They're a Christian band.
Yeah, I
was like,
remember
Dad,
MXPX.
this is my favorite band. He's like, Teenage Politics, son? Teenage Politics? That's not what we're doing in this house. I'm like, free speech, Dad.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's my dad.
He
I
broke
also
it.
had a James Dean poster in my room, and James Dean's, it's a classic
Smoking?
photo. And my dad came in with a Sharpie and Sharpied out the cigarette.
Oh, your dad was different.
He's different.
Your dad was
He's like, you can have this
different.
poster, but we're not going to have that up on it. We're not having contraband up in the
Your
house.
dad was different.
How good is that?
Sharpie the cigarette dad.
That's why I get so convicted when I smoke cigarettes now. Come on, Rich, you can't admit that here. No, I have smoked some cigarettes, but I haven't in a long time.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Holy smoke.
sorry, holy smoke. Sorry.
That's the name of the
Yeah,
brand.
totally. Yeah. Holy smoke.
Holy smoke.
That'd be a good brand. These are Christian cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Yeah. This tobacco, for every pack you get, never mind, we'll stop.
it's a witnessing
It supports. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. I just, rapping was always a thing. And then when I was in college, you know, I get saved, and we used to have these little freestyle competitions.
Yep.
And just at the campus Bible study. So it was this is the irony. We had, like, there's one church, and it wasn't a multicultural church, right? It was a predominantly white church, but they were like, yo, we need to be reaching this very tiny black community. So they had a pastor that his job was to, like, rally up all the African American students on the campus and bring them to the church. And so we were, like, sitting in church, and it was so funny because, you know, it's mostly like 40s and 50s and up, like older white people, and then it's like a bunch of black college students. And so it was like you just knew it was Jesus, because this room did not make sense. You're
This
just
doesn't
like,
belong together. Yeah.
this is Jesus, because there's no reason for this gray-haired woman and this dude in the do-rag, and they're just both just celebrating the Lord, like, in the same joint. So we would leave there and church and huddle up outside of church and just create a cipher. And it's just funny because we're sitting here rapping, and you got these older couples who are just on their way to golf, and they're just watching us like, wow, he said Jesus, he said disciple and rival and Bible together. And that was great. And so, but yeah, man, that turned into, like, just a normal, regular occurrence of just rapping. And people were like, hey man, you might want to pursue this. You know, you might want to think about doing this. And that was the beginning of, like, trying to make this a reality, like, into what it is now.
And the reality that it turned into is not just a project for you, but an entire, like, organization, Reach Records, and so many artists, and a whole sound, and a whole, really, to me, even like a whole genre. Like, I'm trying to go back to my first time, like, when I heard Lecrae, when I saw Lecrae, it's probably 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe 16, 17 years ago. And the thing that struck me at the time was, wow, this sound, this presence, this human is so powerful. The sound is so good. This sounds like really great hip hop music. But then the lyrics were, like, so theological. And I think maybe, if I'm trying to be honest, like, when I first was, like, kind of coming around Lecrae from afar, I didn't understand, like, this world, because in many ways, like, I don't know if this is even true. You can correct me where I'm wrong. I think maybe we've talked about this before privately. It's like the theological camp that you were in. It's like this reformed world. There's a lot of, you know, I guess in one way they're kind of like celebrity pastors, from, like, John Pipers to this John MacArthur world. I've never really met any of these men, by the way. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just going, it's like a whole space. But then I see this guy. How did that all, like, come about? Like, how did you find yourself in that space? And I don't know if we're jumping real quick, but, like, with it though, you have a whole following that's kind of following suit. Like it's not just like, hey, yo, we're really good at rap. And it's not that we're like going to make really dope music. We're also going to be like preaching better than most of the preachers in the pulpit. Yeah. And I don't know if there's like something in you that whatever you're doing, like you're going to take it to like 0 to 100. I'm not going to just be an artist. I'm starting a label. I'm not just going to have a label. I'm going to have a successful label. I'm not just going to like, there's something in you that does that.
Well, there's an entrepreneurial side. I think one is when you first become, so here's what happens. Most Christians have this, you have an awakening. After the awakening comes growth. After growth comes productivity, right? Awakening, oh my gosh, there's a God. Jesus is real. Growth, you need to change all your mental maps. Whatever you thought you knew, you don't know. That's a very vulnerable time for most people because whoever you come into contact with, that's what you're going to, that's the trajectory you're going to go down. At that point in time, like the Reformed theological camp, it started with like the dispensational like theological camp. They were the people I was in closest proximity to because a lot of seminary students from Dallas Seminary were mentoring me. Okay. And so it was like in my growth period, that was the only truth I was getting, right? So there was no like, I didn't get exposed to Jakes. I didn't get exposed to any like Pentecostal leaders. Okay. Because it was like, that's where these guys were coming from. So growth was changing your mental maps. Then productivity. Well, now I got to be productive for the kingdom.
This is interesting.
So what do you do now to be productive? You teach, you rap, you write, you do things for the kingdom. But here's what happens. Most people get stuck on that merry-go-round of awakening, growth, productivity, and they end up, doing those things, but then they hit a wall, right? They hit a wall, maybe a divorce, crisis, loss, just some pain, some trauma comes in your life. And you try to go back in that, maybe I got to awaken again. What did I do the first time? Or maybe I need to go grow. Let me read these books I was reading but really the issue is you need to do some internal work, right? And you and God need to meet in a different way. For me, that theological camp was what I thought I thought God lived in that box. And so when I hit a wall, when I ran into issues, when I struggled, that box it was too small, right? It was like, wait, God is bigger than this box. So something's not right here. And I had to do some internal work and say, Lecrae, you've created a God that's way too small. And you've created a God that is not capable of the miraculous, of transformation, of healing, of like, it's cool, but you learn some stuff here, but this is not the authority on everything. And so that's how I think I broke out and was able to say, let me stretch my wings a little bit because we're all family. We're all brothers and sisters, but brothers and sisters argue. They don't always see eye to eye. When we get outside this house, we need to look unified. You know what I mean? Like, that's my sister, that's my brother.
Do you think when you were in that you were exclusive to that?
Oh, for sure.
So would that lead to you being judgmental towards others?
For sure.
Do you think you were legalistic?
Absolutely.
So isn't that interesting that your mom, all the way back there, was shielding you from that, or
shielding me from what could have been a reality? Now, here's the thing.
But then you end up
in the same
in another version of that.
Yep. I think, I think I needed a dad, right? And I was looking for a father figure. And these are the first men that adopted me. The first men that wrapped their arms around me, that said, hey, come here, let me show you something. What I didn't realize is, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them were using me. Some of them were like, hey, we've never had someone in your generation, someone with your type of influence, someone who can reach the communities you can reach, saying these things that we stand on. So we're going to propel you and push you forward because you push our movement forward. And you're good for what we're pushing forward. I'm not saying that was everyone's heart and intention, but that was definitely some. And you have to wake up and realize, oh, you're more of a mascot than you are like appreciated.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? Because I was not, this is the crazy part. They loved my music. They didn't let me preach in the pulpit. You did. I wasn't getting invites to preach in the pulpit.
I didn't know that.
No, it was kind of like, great job. Now leave the real work to us. You rap about it, we'll preach it. You know, and it was like, oh, I'm kind of more of a mascot than I am a player on the team. And I think you wake up and you realize like, oh, that's not what I signed up for. And God is too restrictive. Now, here's what I'm not saying. I don't want anybody to get confused. What I'm not saying is that the Reformed evangelical community, the conservative, the fundamental evangelical community are wrong. What I am saying is that they are a slice of the global body of Christ. They're a slice. And I think you can't look at your slice. It's like being on the baseball field and you're an outfielder and you're saying, I see the whole game perfectly. Well, you don't. You don't see it like the person behind on the pitching mound. You don't see it like the catcher does. Like, we need every person's perspective to see the whole field.
It's very, very good. I remember, as you're saying that, back when LeBron played here with the Heat, I feel like we were in that Indiana series. Ray would probably remember what year that was, but my dad somehow scored, like, I think we were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and like my dad scored some tickets, but of course, like, the tickets he scored literally weren't seats. When I'm talking about nosebleed, it was a standing section at was back then American Airlines Arena, Kaseya. You know, I mean, it's way up there. We were just happy to be there. Eastern Conference Finals, me and my brothers, my dad, we're standing, so much energy. But man, you're at such a distance. And it's funny when you watch a game from that distance, you're kind of like, I bet I could play with them. You know, there's a little bit of a level like it's a little slower from up there. I've also had the privilege of sitting on that wood a couple times, more than a couple times. It's good to have some friends. It's like that idea, you know, like you don't want a boat, you just want a friend who has a boat. Yeah. You don't need your own floor seats. You just need some friends that has them. But when you're on that floor, okay.
Yes.
You can hear, see, feel different. It's up close. And I just think it's a good analogy when it comes to God that like oftentimes we can put God in this controlled manner that we've got this perfect system and box around him and it feels controllable. Like, I understand why he does this. I think it's all slow motion. But God invites us to a courtside seat that when you get up that close, man, woo, this is uncontrollable. Like, this is far bigger than my little brain that he created, far bigger than the way that I like to frame it. And yeah, I'm not against anyone. I just think the way that you said it, that there is a big God out there.
That's right.
And our faith is not just individual, it's communal.
That's right.
I think about the 7 churches in Revelation, he introduces himself a different way to each one of those churches, meaning that each one of those churches knew something about Jesus. They didn't know everything about Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
And so we need each other. And I think that's really beautiful. But I am curious in all of that, like, it seems like that was painful for you. It seems like there was a lot of loss. It seems like there was a lot of hurt. It seems like there was years for you that you felt maybe betrayed by, I don't know if I'm going to use the capital C church. Maybe it felt that way. Maybe that's not the truth. But is that what you felt like? Did you feel?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Even after, I like that those buckets you were creating about awakening, growth,
productivity.
Yeah. Did that mess with your productivity? Did that change your productivity?
Yes.
Like you've got disciples all around you. So I'm trying to say, like, you started this thing. You're not just an artist. I feel like you're a leader and you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are. What did you start reproducing at that point then, after you're recognizing this?
So what usually happens is people go from awakening to awakening, right? They're like, it's kind of like your friend who is like, they're the health nut and they had an awakening. We have to stop using sugar. And then their productivity or their growth, they watch all the sugar documentaries, and in productivity they become an evangelist for non-sugar. Stevia. You know,
don't pull that thing out, man.
Right? And so
dropping it.
So then it's like this becomes their lifestyle, but then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, we should not eat meat. So then it become a vegan awakening. And then it's vegan growth. And then it's like, man, you're just jumping from awakening to awakening to awakening. And you're not getting to the wholeness, which is dealing with yourself and dealing with who are you and who has God made you to be and how do you fit in the grand economy of everything else. Like, you're just trying to jump to the next thing. And I think for me, it was, you know, I hit a wall, a cultural wall, and I said, oh, the church doesn't have the right cultural lenses. So now I'm in a cultural awakening, you know? So I'm like, oh, this is it. And it's like, well, now everyone who doesn't see things the way you do is the enemy, right? Like they become the enemy. So the church becomes my enemy because the church has closed cultural lenses. And it's really, you just jump into a different version of self-righteousness.
Wow.
That's really all it is.
Wow.
So at that point in time, I'm so hurt. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, wait, if the church has closed lenses on society and culture, and they're the smartest people in the room about God, what if they're wrong about everything? What if they're wrong about God?
Wow.
And now you start spiraling out.
Wow.
I did anyway. Because like, what if they're wrong about God? What if there is no God? Well, shoot. Well, what is there? So now I'm just, and this gives room for your flesh, because it's like, sometimes your flesh wants to believe there's no God because now it's free to do the things that you wanted to do in the first place, right? It's like, I think my mom's at home, but I hope she's not because I want to drive her car. But I shouldn't drive her car.
Got you.
But if she's not home, I'm driving the car. And when I got to a place of like...
Powerful. It's powerful.
Like, oh, well, maybe there is no God. So if there's no God, is there right? Is there wrong? Is there up? Is there down? And then you start playing with that. I started playing with that, man. I started toying with that. And I started saying like, well, how much to drink is too much to drink? What's too much? Well, I felt like Solomon in Ecclesiastes. Well, let me try. Let me drink a little more. And then I'm like, I'm depressed. I'm hungover. I'm like, I don't like the way this feels. Well, I'm not going to pray because that's weak. So let's go to the doctor. Doctor prescribes pills. Take these pills. Didn't know it was like a pill pushing doctor who later got disbanded. So now I'm taking pills and drinking and I'm spiraling and I'm mad at God. I don't know if there's a God.
Yep.
In my heart of hearts, I knew.
Yep.
I knew, right? My conscience was bearing witness within, but I'm trying to suppress that. Suppressing my knowledge of God so I can keep going down this pathway. And it was just eating me up. And the depression started to overtake me till one morning, I woke up hungover in a clinical depression. And it was like, okay, there's nowhere to turn but God now, because I don't know where else to go. And the Lord led me to the scripture where he's talking to Peter. And he's like, you're gonna turn your back. And Peter's like, no, I'm not. You know, and then he does. And then when Jesus stares at Peter after he denies him 3 times, my mind was like God was saying, I told you. But God revealed to me in that moment, he wasn't saying, I told you so. He was saying, I knew you would do this, and I still want you. I still chose you. You're still my rock. And I think that's what pulled me out of that dark place. And in long story short, or short story longer, it opened my eyes to see the church is global. It's bigger than the slice that I put in. Because God reached me in a place I never thought he'd reach me in. And God did work in me in a way I never thought he'd do work. And I began to see things. I was open to things. And God just started to show up in different ways, man. And so, yeah.
You're saying something there that I think is really interesting. It's not that you maybe down deep you said, I knew there was God, but this active suppression, it's almost like if you're angry and you can at least direct that towards God, if you don't even have God to direct your anger towards, it's going to always turn towards yourself. It's going to always lead towards self, affliction. And even what is depression? Depression, psychologists would call it an inward anger, a suppressed anger, an anger with no outlet. And it only leads into a spiral. For you, as you're spiraling like that, the part of the story I'm really curious about in terms of, God wants to do an individual work in you, but at this point in your life, you've already created this name.
Yep.
You're Lecrae.
Yep.
You've got this reputation that precedes wherever you go. You've got a wife. You've got kids. You have artists. You have an organization. How do you even have time to think about yourself in those moments? And what happens to all those other things? What's the collateral for all those things? And how do you get those things back in order?
Well, that's the toughest part for leaders, and that's why I have a lot of sympathy for leaders. Like, leaders have to stop pretending to be gurus and know-it-alls and be human and say, hey, I'm struggling and I need help. Because in that time period, no one knew. Because who are you going to tell? Who wants to hear a grown man, a successful grown man with money in the bank, nice house, nice car? Who wants to hear him cry about his woes, right? That's what you're thinking. That's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. And also, you're supposed to be the guru. You've got it all together. You can't be broken because you've got it all together. And I think I greatly appreciate broken leaders now, like leaders who are like open about, no, I do not have it together. And a lot of my triumph comes from trial. And I love that because they're real and they're authentic and they can be honest about you just can see, and I've had a lot of therapy over the years, you can see behind it all. So for me, in that season, the reason why I got so bad is because I was hiding it all. Like, right, I'm still going through the motions. If someone said, hey, can you do a Devo for us? I'll do something that's like very generic, very proverbial. Not godly, not spirit-led. Let's go through the Proverbs. Let's talk about something about like, stewardship, or let's talk about something that's like, sure, this is a good moral thing.
Yep.
But deep down inside, I'm like, even that, if you're really going to drive this thing to the furthest limits, are there really morals if there's no God? Like, come on, be real. But as I'm wrestling through it all, I'm like, I'm not going to inflict my pain on you. I told my wife, I said, hey, sweetheart, I'm struggling with my faith right now. I just don't want to do Bible studies at the house anymore because I don't know what's up or what's down.
Was that alarming to her?
Yeah, it was deeply saddening. And she was but she's a rock. So she was like, we're going to pray. We're going to pray. She's like, I hate this for you. She's like, but she grew up in church. She already had seen the hypocrisy and made it through that. And she knew like, yeah, no one's perfect and church people mess up and that. I hadn't. So for me, I was like, my family's already broken and now this family's broken. Well, what's the point? And it's like, I just went through the motions, man. And I didn't want to tell people that I was in a dark place because I was afraid. Yeah. Afraid of what they would say, afraid of like, oh, you? And that would have been the best thing for me. That's what I tell any leader now. Like, go talk to somebody. Go tell somebody I'm falling apart. Because otherwise, you're holding everything together in your own strength, and it's not God anyway. It's you. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, everyone. This is Rich Wilkerson Jr. from VOUS Church in Miami, Florida. And I want to take a moment. If you are a pastor out there, I want to invite you to our Pastors Assembly. It's happening January 26th and 27th, 2026. That's a Monday and a Tuesday. This is our third annual Pastors Assembly. This really is a gathering of like-minded men and women who feel called and are shepherding the church, leading, feeding, protecting God's sheep. I think we are a fraternity, a sorority of brothers and sisters who understand the shared suffering and also the shared joy of what it means to lead in God's house. And I think one of the most dangerous things you can do is try to do that alone. That's why we started the Pastors Assembly. It really is a space for two things: to train you, that you would grow, that you would get better, but also to impart something to you. Here at VOUS Church, we don't think we're the hero of the story. We definitely don't think we're the expert of the story, but hopefully we can guide you a little bit and come around you to help you know you're not alone. Together, we get better. Monday and Tuesday, January 26th. It's a Monday night, and then it's Tuesday. It's finished by early afternoon. We're gonna have great guests in. Of course, my wife and I, we will be leading the charge along with the VOUS team. Come, be with us. You might find a friend in the fight. Also, this year, I'm really excited to announce that we are hosting for the first time ever on Monday morning, the very first ever, VOUS Pastors Assembly Golf Tournament. Come on, can you think of anything better? Miami, January, golf, Jesus, pastors, the church. Doesn't get better than this. Get signed up today, pastorsassembly.com. I'll see you there. So much of your life, it feels like, on one hand, you can look at it going, it's been battle after battle. Maybe a more faith-filled way to say it is it's been victory after victory. when I look at your life once again, and I'm judging from afar, but it's like there's been so much success. Has success made you more confident, or it's made you more insecure?
Early on, success feeds insecurity, right? Because now you're thinking that this is what identifies me. This is where my value, my worth, and my identity comes from. So you have to keep it going. And it's funny because I can see it from the outside looking in. Like I love hanging out with younger artists and leaders, celebrity pastors, because you can see it, and it's like I'm not looking at it from a judgmental lens because I've been there, but you can see it. You can see like, oh, this matters to you more than it should. God bless you. I hope you make it through this. You know what I mean? Like this accolade matters to you more than it should. This award matters to you. This being next to a famous person matters to you more than it should, because you don't know your identity was received, not achieved. So you're still trying to achieve your worth and your value. And it's like, man, you are already somebody. They should be honored to be next to you. You're a child of the Most High God. You know, so early on it's insecurity because you're trying to keep it. I gotta win the next thing. So I'm valuable still. Because if I don't, then I'm not valuable. And as I've gotten older, man, I'm like, it's all vanity. It's dust. It fades away. My last 2 Grammys that I won, I had zero intention of winning. It was the best part about it. All I wanted to do was take my daughter to the Grammys. That was it. She was so excited because she was so young all the other times.
Yeah.
So I'd taken her to the Grammy. She's like, that's Taylor Swift, that's Coco Jones, that's for King and Country. You know, and she's just like getting to meet all these people. And, you know, we're walking through the hallway and Billie Eilish is like, hey, Lecrae, it's good to see you in person.
Wow.
And my daughter's like, Billie Eilish said your name. You know, she's a typical teenager.
You're like, I already won.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, and shout out to all the judgmental people out there who are gonna be like, why is he excited?
Why is that important? Get out of here.
You know what I'm saying?
Get out.
Have some teenagers. You'll get it. But long story short, that's all I wanted. You know?
Yep.
And then when they called my name to come receive a Grammy, 2, I'm like, that's grace. That's thank you, Lord. You whatever you want, if you wanted to do that, you did that. But it doesn't add to anything, doesn't boost my confidence. It makes me more confident in the Lord that this is all him.
Yeah. You were mentioning Solomon and Ecclesiastes, you know, meaningless, it's all meaningless.
Yeah.
And he kind of, I don't know if he ever gets right at the end there. It seems like he doesn't. It seems like he's just at a place of complete decadence and complete self-indulgence. For you, you've accomplished much, and now you're like, yo, I can see this. This ain't real. However, you still stay, it feels like to me, on your grind.
Oh, yeah.
And even though, as I say, on your grind, like, I would say that you stay like so fresh. Like, you have an album out right now. It's a brand new album. We can talk about it here in a moment. But like even the podcasting, even reaching down to young artists. Tomorrow you're speaking at a conference for adoption. What keeps you still hungry?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a new motivation or new drive, but can you talk about that a little bit? Because it's like you've already accomplished so much. Why do you care to keep
pushing?
Yeah.
Well,
because I want to learn about that. And how do you stay fresh when you do it? It's not cringe. It's cool. It's like as you're getting older, it's like, oh, it's cool what he's doing.
Well, because we're supposed to, right? God tells us in Genesis to subdue the earth. He tells us to cultivate it, right? Cultivate is where we get the word culture. Like you're supposed to be a culture creator. You're supposed to, he says, praise him with the lyre, praise him with the harp, praise him skillfully. You're supposed to hone your craft, produce skillful things, beautiful things, wonderful art. You're supposed to push back darkness. We should be leading in cultural renewal. We should be leading in innovation and inspiration, but for the benefit of pushing back darkness and bringing light. So why would I want a mediocre anything, right? Like I'm not doing it because it adds value to me. I'm doing it because I'm valuable and my creator is valuable. And so the things that I do, I want to add value to. You know what I mean? So that's the push. That's the drive, is that, you know, I'm a part of an eternal legacy. I'm a co-heir of the kingdom. Like, he's come and he said, the kingdom of God is at hand. I'm a part of that. I get to go out and be a part of the greatest kingdom in existence and be an ambassador and start pushing back darkness and start telling people what light looks like and start calling down like things that don't make sense and to infiltrate spaces and places that are supposed to be for the, the elite. And it's like, no, like I'm coming in and I'm doing it in a way that people haven't seen it done, because that's what Christ did, right? He came in and it's like, hey, you're from Nazareth, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not an emperor, and Jesus like, listen, if I call down my angels from my kingdom, like y'all wouldn't last a day.
Yeah.
I'm just.
This ain't weakness, this is meekness.
Yes, you hear
stop
me.
trying to do bars with Lecrae.
That's cool. That's good.
That was a good one. Just came to me.
So it's like he's like, yo, I'm healing the blind out here, bro. Like, you've never seen that. I'm raising Lazarus. You've never seen that.
Come on.
You've never seen it. And so for me, it's like I'm walking in that legacy.
Yeah.
And just trying to push that agenda forward. Yeah.
Music industry is crazy in of itself. It's full of competition, ambition, selfish desires. If we go into hip hop, that's a whole nother just complete space that a lot of it is based upon rivalry, even battle rapping, just some of the origin of all of that. Yeah. Here you are going, all right, I'm going to be a Christian hip hop artist. I don't know if you even like that term. I don't like that term because I just think, I don't like the label of it. I think you're a hip hop artist, you're a rapper, happens to be a Christian. But as you kind of stepped into it from a place of reputation and fame and notoriety, it was very, very theological. It's in your life, like as you're doing this and someone who wants to be great at whatever they're doing, was there ever a time for you where it was like, man, I feel like I'm not getting respect from other hip hop artists? There's people that cross the aisle that I really respect. There's people that are doing this on a big level, and I'm trying my best here to bring faith-filled people into a new space. And because we're talking about cultural things, I think when I think about my life, I just get inspired listening to you talk, because I can go back 8-9 years ago, even just getting into the church. I always had a deep desire that the church just should be engaging culture and should be leading in those spaces. Maybe as I get older, you just get tired. You get tired of the criticism. You get tired of pushing, back darkness, like you say it. Talk about that for a moment, just maybe even from being a rapper. Yeah. I don't know any of the feelings, what you can speak about. Yeah. Was there ever shots fired from the other side? I know you've collabed with, I let that song you do with Ty Dolla, like these different things you've done. Like, talk about being known as a Christian rapper, how that feels to you, or if there was ever insecure about that, or pride on that. Like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm as good as any of y'all.
When I first started out, so here's what I'll say too. Every Christian fits in one of four categories.
Ooh, I like this kind of stuff.
Right? Every Christian, one of four categories. You are either in the category of humble excellence, meaning like you don't need everybody to know you are a Christian. You're just going to do amazing things humbly. Okay. Jerry Lorenzo, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, down to earth guy, humble, excellent, but he's killing it with fear of God, right? You're going to fit in the category of service and love, right? You're going to serve people. You're going to be hospitable. You're going to Salvation Army, right? You're going to be people may not know you love Jesus, and but it's evident there's fruit there. You're going to fit in the transformational camp. We want to see the world transformed. We want everything to look different because it's kingdom, and we're going to see a different way of things, or distinction. Right? We're going to be distinct, and you're going to know where we stand, and we're going to be loud and proud. And I think all of them start fighting each other, right? Instead of learning how to lean on each other. Okay. And we need all of those at different seasons and different times. You need to be all of those components, right? At different iterations of time. But we fall into the trap of saying, I need to just be this one. And when I first started as a rapper, I was distinct. Like, you're gonna know I'm Christian, bro.
Yeah.
I'm out to rep the Bible, create disciples who make disciples, disciples cycles. I'm a Christian, bro. And you're gonna know it. And I'm dope, but I'm Christian. And that was kind of
I like it.
The way I came out the gate. And it was super theological, super explicit, and a lot of like very fundamental, explicit Christians loved that. Like, yeah.
This whole song's on Romans 1.
What?
Yeah.
Let's go. Listen, there's room for that. It's necessary. But just so you know, that music is from the church for the church. Whenever you're making music that's us versus them, that's not of Jesus. Jesus was never us versus them. Christians should be us for them. So when you're going against the world, that's not Team Jesus.
Come on.
That's Team Pharisee, self-righteous all day. So I started getting respect for the craftsmanship. And because my name kept ringing bells in mainstream hip hop, people started paying attention to me. But I had some kids in my neighborhood and I'm trying to minister to them. And they're like, yo, man, I don't want to hear this. Like, they start playing me the music that they wanted to hear. And it challenged me because what they were telling me was, Lecrae, you're not telling my story. You're not relatable. You're not saying anything that I connect with.
Wow.
Like, I don't know what the heck eschatology is. I don't get it. And I'm realizing like I'm only creating pep rallies for Christians. You know what I'm saying? I'm not reaching the community. And it challenged me. And I started wrestling with that. And then someone gave me a book called Total Truth by Nancy Pearcey. And that book started to express how a lot of times we think that people in ministry are on varsity and people in secular spaces are JV. And I was like, and she's like, that's not true. Ministry is where your feet are. So if you're a doctor, a lawyer, an attorney, a pastor, that's where you serve. And it started to open up my brain. I started thinking about Daniel and like, oh, look at how he was navigating that space, and Joseph when he was working for Pharaoh, and just like, okay. So at that point in time, I'm like trying to practice how to navigate this world. And I send a tweet to a rapper, a little known rapper at the time, because he put out this song called The Faith. And I thought, man, he's talking about faith. I sent him a DM. He wasn't popular, little known guy, but I heard that and I said, yo, my man, you want to build? Because I heard what you said and maybe we can build and talk about this. We established a connection and a relationship, and I started to practice being a human and relating to him behind the scenes, and saw the fruit of that relationship. That rapper's name now is Kendrick Lamar.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Little rapper.
Yeah, somebody you may have never heard of. But
pretty good.
But when you fast forward the tape and you hear him on his latest battle with Drake and he says, I wonder what Lecrae would do.
Yep.
He says that not because I'm a great rapper, because he knows my character. He knows the consistency of who I am in real life. And then I quit caring about what everybody has to say, because I live this. I put this in practice. So when I'm doing these collaborations and doing these songs that you're like, there's not enough Jesus in there. Man, this is the Book of Esther song right here. All right, I got another song for you. That's Romans.
The name of God never mentioned once in the entire book of the Bible.
Exactly.
But his fingerprints are all over it. Shout out to Tony Evans.
Hey, right on. That's my dog.
Yeah.
So for me now, I'm like, I do it all.
Yep.
You're not going to box me, he lost his way because you heard this song. But what about this one?
But was there a moment for you where you felt like insecure in that? Like right now, you see it from this side. Yeah. Was there ever times like, were you tempted to like?
Because big time. Because when I first got on this wave of like, I'm going to infiltrate mainstream space. Yep. I didn't want to be called a Christian rapper. But I had already spent so many years being called that. And I remember going to a Sacramento Kings practice. I was in Sacramento for a show. Coach Bobby Jackson, he's like, yo, man, I love your stuff. Come in here, man. We're going to pass out some of your CDs to the players. And I'm in there. And Bobby Jackson, God bless him, he's like, hey, y'all, we got one of the best gospel rappers ever. And it was immediately in their brain, it was like, and no thank you. Shut off. And I saw it. And as I'm passing out the CDs, I got, so many big name producers and rappers on this CD, but they're not looking at it. They just heard gospel rapper. And one of them literally threw the CD back in my box and said, nah, I'm cool on that gospel rap.
Stop.
And that was like,
stop.
It killed me.
I'm sorry.
It killed me. So I had to learn to get through that and not be insecure, because it's like, okay, I don't like it, but people create categories so that they can wrap their brains around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, isn't that wild what a label can do?
Yeah.
And labels so often just create a quick framework. And I think in many ways, it's what we're dealing with in 2025 across the board. It's like people want to fall into these ideologies or paradigms.
Yep.
And with it, it's all the way back to what we're talking about, like boxing in God.
Yep.
And I think it happens to us in the church. It happens to us in society.
Yep, big time.
A gospel rapper, it's like, actually, bro, if you wouldn't have heard that, you would have just heard rapper, you might have listened to this, and it could have changed your life. And you would have just actually really enjoyed it. It actually would have it would have really been enjoyable. It would have entertained you. It would have actually met you and touched your soul. But because that word right before it, this word that it gets hijacked or it means something to people, regardless of its intention, it has an impact.
That's tough.
And I think that's still happening. I think what I appreciate about you is that when I see you on your podcast and stuff, I feel like you just dive in hell of the deep end, but you dive into the most controversial stuff, and the Lord has given you such a grace to talk through different frameworks and language. And I feel like you give space to everyone.
Yeah.
Sitting here, you and me, 2025, I'm a white guy, you're a black guy. We're both in the church. What are things that you would try to encourage me in as a white pastor who comes from an evangelical Protestant space, who theologically, I want to hold tension for all of them. I'm not reformed, but I certainly believe in the sovereignty of God. But I certainly believe in free will choice. I want to engage the world, but I also want to maintain my standards. I want to be both and wherever I can, but I've got to say, hey, this is sin, this is not. How would you encourage me, because I feel like after all that you've experienced, I think that your heart is really, really healthy and whole, but it's like there can be these little trigger words and things that people can do that you're like, that's kind of cringe, or that doesn't make me feel safe. And I feel like what I want to learn how to do, and I know we can't reach everyone, but what would be areas if you could whatever archetype I represent, you're like, yo, these are ways that you could try to create space to try to reach someone like Lecrae. When I say Lecrae, I don't know, it's had your experience. I want to have a church that's multicultural. I don't want just white people in my church. I want black men in our church. I don't know. I feel like people don't ever ask that question enough, where it's like,
that's good.
How would you coach me in that? Yo, Rich.
I mean, if we're going to be real. If we're going to be really real, this is America. America has probably about 200 million white people. You have to recognize this is your country, right? This is your backyard. You are amongst the most influential people in the world, right? And you just got to know that. And with whoever has the most awareness has the most responsibility. So if you have that awareness, you have a responsibility to act upon that. And what I would say for somebody in that position is to make yourself a student, because what oftentimes it's like the rich and I'll just being real. I'm wealthy. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna deny that. I am, by American standards, global standards, for sure wealthy. Wealth can put blinders on us, right? So power, influence, and wealth can put blinders on us. What wealth can put blinders on us is that because we spend so much time, my pastor said this to me one time, shout out to Pastor Lee Jenkins, he said, Lecrae, you smell like first class flights in green rooms. You don't smell like sheep. So you don't know what the sheep are up to. You don't know how the sheep think. You don't know how, because you're not around sheep. And it's like, you need to go serve somewhere where you don't get paid. Go volunteer at a place that's not expecting you.
Good.
Go be in places where you're the student and not the teacher, where you got to learn about the environment and you got to grow from being amongst them. And that's what I would say to anybody who's in the seat that you sit in, right? Because the world is going to cater to you in ways you don't even realize. It makes Band-Aids thinking about you. Like, the Band-Aids are not my skin tone, they're your skin tone, right? When I get a microphone that's supposed to be skin tone, it's not my skin tone, it's your skin tone. So you're not even going to see the areas that you can't see what you don't see. So you have to actually be active in saying, what don't I know? Let me go hang out in Little Haiti and just like, what happens here? What's the day when I went to Africa? This is the dopest thing. I had some of my white brothers with me, and we sat in Kenya, and we said, be honest. What is the perspective of Americans here? Hold nothing back. And they said, all right, you see this glass. We will say this is glass. And an American will say, no, it's not, it's plastic. And we'll say, no, we're telling you it's glass. The American throws it against the ground, it shatters. And they say, that's the weirdest plastic I've ever seen. Like, you're so focused on have it being the way you see it is. You can't, it couldn't possibly be what we said it is. And they were like, that's the American perspective. And they said, okay, well, give us your perspective on us as Americans. And I said, can I be honest? They said, yeah, be honest. I said, I feel like y'all are just chilling. Like, y'all aren't, there's no rush. It's like, it gets done when it gets done. There's no like quality of work that's like man, this is the best quality here. And I said, and
you told them that?
Yeah, I said that. And they said, okay, so think about it from this vantage point, Lecrae. In America, if you work at the airport and you do a stellar job, the way your infrastructure is set up, you're going to get a promotion and a raise. Here, there's no infrastructure that gives us a promotion or a raise for doing a stellar job or being quick or being proficient. So there's no incentive for doing things in the way that you like them done.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, shoot. But that changed my framework.
Yep.
Changed my worldview. So that's what I would say to you is like, man, be a student. Like, hey, man, let me go hang out in spaces and places that are unlike mine. Be a student. And again, I am not the expert I'm not the cultural expert. But that's all I say is, man, be a student. Start asking questions, asking everybody.
Well, I'm asking because I think over the last 5 years in America, culturally speaking, when it comes towards race, politics, all of the massive things out there, the discussions on sexuality and gender. Yeah. Do you feel like, I'm thinking about two massive cultural moments from 2020 to even this year. Do you feel like we're doing better or we're more divided than ever? Because that's what I'm trying to struggle with. It's like, I want to be a part of bringing people together and getting better. And I know there's so many things we could weigh into. Like, well, maybe that's better, that's worse. But I don't know your general feeling.
No, I don't think much has changed. I think you could think we've gotten better because things weren't talked about.
Okay.
But it's like there was always a chasm. It's just that it's like a volcano. It was dormant. There was still fire in there.
Yeah.
It just takes something to ignite that fire. And I think the biggest problem for me with America is that America is human beings, especially Christians.
Yeah.
We do not take up residence in our past, but we do repent of our past. We do reflect on what we've done wrong, right? And I think America, for whatever reasons, it just doesn't want to do that. It's so afraid that we're taking up residence there. Let's live in the past.
Great language. We're
not trying to take a residence there. We're just trying to repent of it and grow from it and say, how can we be better? And I think that's where a lot of the tension lies, is because some people are saying, well, you're trying to make me feel terrible for things that's the past America, not today. And it's like, and some people may be trying to do that. But for those of us who are healthy, we're saying, no, let's just reflect on it so we don't repeat it.
Yep.
And let's figure out how to be better. And I think that's the biggest difference. So there's so many nuances and micro things that could be done. But I think it's, man, just giving those people a voice. It's like, I'm a recovering misogynist, a recovering, objectifier of women. And the only way I've been able to grow is to give women the space to speak into my world.
There you go.
And to say, hey, tell me what I don't know. Let me be quiet and learn from you, It's very, very good. Yeah.
If we don't learn from the past, we'll repeat it.
That's right. That's right.
We're bound to repeat it, and we're doomed by it. And I think that even confession like that, the way you just even did that right there, it's powerful that when you've been set free from something, you can talk about it.
That's right.
And our fear of talking about some of these things might be an indication that they still have a hold on us. And yeah, I want to be a person in a city who's fighting for unity. Black people, white people, different genders, people on different sides of the political aisles. I can disagree without disrespecting you.
Yeah.
I can learn from everybody. I really think that's a beautiful thing. Every person I meet, I believe I can learn from them.
That's right.
I always say in my own life, it's like I want to make people rich where they're poor. I like the pun there as well. But that means if I can do that for somebody, that means there's an area in my life that I'm poor in that Lecrae can make me rich in. We're not talking about money here for those that are wondering.
Right.
But we have value that we can bring to it.
Yeah.
As we kind of come around a corner here, like you've got a new record out called Reconstruction, which I think is in and of itself a massive statement. There's a whole movement out there these days that are deconstructing things. And this morning I was driving home from jiu-jitsu with my son, and we were talking about, he was seeing something be built, and we were talking about this space. We have a church that we're building right now, and they tore it down, and it's now like in the dirt. And he's like, Dad, I guess no construction's happening, right? I said, well, there is, son. It's just destruction had to happen first. And now they're doing foundational work that you can't see. In fact, they're going to be there for a few more months. And then the construction will begin to happen, or the reconstruction, if you will.
That's right.
Talk about this record, this project, naming it that, what's going on in your life to make that kind of a statement, and what that all the way means for you. I don't want to even hijack its own metaphor or its own truth.
No, I think that's spot on. For me, I think that I had built a faith that was more cultural than biblical, and we all do that to some degree. Like people say all the time, like the Bible said it, I believe it, that settles it. And that's true, except the Bible said it, you interpreted it, and that should not settle it because you may have interpreted it wrong. And I think it's just being more open to saying, oh, I may have seen some things wrong, and let me tear down those things and rebuild what's right. I think I built my faith on a solid foundation. Christ is the foundation, but I built a house with no doors, and you can't get in or out. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, well, you walled yourself in, and that's not what God intended. God, and also, this is the scary part for a lot of people. The foundation is firm, but we may have to consistently tear some walls down. Like that's just a part of the faith. And
it's Romans 12. Got to renew your mind, AKA renovate it.
And people get scared of that. They're like, wait. No, leave it as it is. And it's like, no, we gotta tear this wall down. We're learning, we're growing, things are changing. And the foundation is the same. We're not touching that. It's built on Christ. He's the cornerstone. He's the chief cornerstone. But reconstruction is learning that. Honestly, what happened was I thought I had it all figured out. I went through a crisis about almost 10 years ago. I took a trip to Egypt, and I saw books there about the faith that I'd never seen before, and authors I'd never heard of before. And I was like, oh, I thought American was the center of the Christian kingdom.
I thought Dallas was our Mecca.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought Atlanta was.
This is a global faith.
Oh, yeah. There's these things called Coptic Christians.
Bro.
Wait, I think Mark was their first apostle, right? Like,
exactly. And you're like, oh.
I want to teach them about communion, though.
Well,
it's just stupid. No, I'm just kidding. It's just like, yes.
That's a whole nother ball.
Well, I was just teaching a bunch of young preachers. It's like Protestants. I want to get back to this, but Protestants are so funny because even me, like I am this. I'm an egotistical like Protestant. It's like, let's go for unity, but don't involve the Catholics or the Coptics. It's like, you know how we started? We're the first original TikTok commenters. We're called protesters. What do you think Luther's 95 Thesis was? It was his critique. And so Yeah, I see the hypocrisy in myself. It's like I can get so mad at all the church reviews today. It's like, what do you think Luther did?
Yeah.
He protested.
Yeah.
And here today, we've got our own version of what we think communion is, and they won't let me have communion with them, and I think they're so wrong for that. But maybe they know something I don't know. It's like, can I be the bridge rather than keep closing the door?
That part. Can I be the bridge?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. Reconstruction is about understanding. I'm not turning into somebody who says, I accept everything that everybody brings to the table. But what I'm saying is that I don't see it all fully. And let me be open, right? There's a reason why for centuries people have thought this way and they think this way. For the Democrat and the Republican, like there are reasons that they see things the way that they see things. Do you understand why? Instead of just being upset at them for the way that they vote. Like, do you even, can your brain even like, oh, that makes sense why you would vote that way. That makes sense. I see that. Most people can't do that. So Reconstruction is about
very good
tearing those walls down and being open and having doors in my house that say, come in, Republican, Democrat, come in, come sit at the table. Let's share a meal together, and being open-handed and just saying, man, Jesus is bigger, and it's also for me, because God is still teaching me how to see outside of. If I'm being honest. One of my best friends in the world, he's like, Lecrae, I've been going to these deliverance ministries, and it's been changing my life. You gotta come. And I said, bro, I've been reading Jesus saying he can't do any miracles in his hometown because of their lack of faith. And I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think some of the abuse that I've seen, I struggle with the deliverance ministry. Like I want to believe. But I'm coming in with such a skeptical mindset. I don't know if the Lord will allow me to see what I need to see. So I'm like, even me, I'm saying to myself, reconstruct me, Lord.
Yes.
Because there's things I don't see and things I know I should believe. Like, why can't God? What would stop him from delivering somebody? Like, what? What are you talking about? But it's like I need God to remove the scales from my eyes to heal the trauma in my own life. So
I heard Judah Smith years ago. He came into VOUS. I think it might have been 2018 or 19. He preached a message called "I Was Wrong," and it's a powerful thought because for some reason I think we're so afraid at admitting, "Hey, I didn't have that part right," and I want to get better at that. I think that is a form of maturity to go, you know what? God is really big. And I'm not talking about heresy. Come on. I've been quoting this all month long with the Augustine quote, which is, it's like, in essentials, unity, non-essentials, liberty, in all things, charity. But a lot of things that we get really, the hill we want to die on is a non-essential.
That's right. And
it's okay to say, I was wrong.
That's right.
In fact, I think if you're actually growing, how could you not be?
Yeah.
I gave my life radically over to Jesus, and I'm going to follow this call at 17 years of age. Man, like, if he's really active in my life, my wife's, not that God changes, but I changed. My wife is not the same person I married when I was 21, 22. Neither am I.
That's
we
right.
have to grow together.
That's right.
God is unchanging, but our perspective and our framework and the glasses that we're viewing the world, and even what you just said, I had a teacher tell me, I can't disagree with you until I first agree with you. And all it means is that, like, I totally understand your argument, or I'm at least giving space to understand your perspective, and I want to seek to understand before I seek to be understood. And if you're going to do it the Jesus way, they all can come to the table. And that's what I get nervous about today, is just the lines that we're drawing that we can't break bread.
Yeah,
and I'm still an idealist, even at 41 years of age. I really think we could solve a lot of problems if we could just have a meal together.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we could solve a lot of things in a conversation eye to eye, and we can go, oh, I understand your pain, and let's agree in a cordial way, in a kind way, that we're still brothers.
I'm an idealist too, then.
I believe it. I heard it said not too long ago. I think it's funny about seasons of life that when there's three currencies: money, time, and energy. When you're young, you've got time and energy, but you ain't got no money. Midlife, where we kind of find ourselves today, and this is why people probably have midlife crises, is they got money and they got energy, but they ain't got no time. And then in your old age, that third phase for a man, it's like you got money and you got time, but you ain't got no energy. Wow. It's kind of funny. Because it's true. And it's like, you wonder why guys in their 40s kind of blow up their life. It's like, I got this money, I got this energy, but these kids and this wife and this job and this record label that I started, why did I start this?
No time.
And people, I ain't get my flowers, I ain't got no time. For you, we were talking earlier, and I don't know if this is public or not, but like you're saying what you believe, who knows what can change, but like this is your last tour that you're on.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about, it's just going, hey, it's not that I don't want to keep hustling and keep working, but I'm able to look at this season of my life and say, this is something that's I don't see in the foreseeable future. Talk a little bit about that, the season that you're in, why you think this is your last tour.
Yeah.
And what you're looking forward to as you're stepping into this next season.
Yeah. I mean, last tour doesn't mean I won't make music in the future. It doesn't mean that I won't do a show or travel. It just means the grind of going from state to state to state, city to city to city, performing. This is the last time because of what you just said, because I only have so much time. And it's a very crucial time in my kids' lives. This is a time where my oldest is becoming a man, my daughter's becoming a woman. My youngest is, starting to become busy. Like, he's a teenager now. His life is busier. So it's like, hey, I gotta be more involved in your life. And you just realize your time is limited with your kids. And I didn't grow up with a father. I don't want to look back and say, dag, I wish I would have given them more of my time than being on the road. Because what am I have to tell myself I'm doing this for the fans and doing this for the supporters, because it's not for the money. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what did my man, I forgot who said, how much money's enough? And it's like, just a little bit more. Like, that's a never ending chase. So it's not the money. It's definitely like, I want to give the people something and give them that. But then I got to give the rest to my family. And that's the season of life that I'm in. And there's also, man, I'm just, like I said, man, Advil on the knees, man. I've been jumping for 20 years, bro. It's like, your body it tells you, it says, hey, man, chill out, bro. Chill out. You know what I mean? So
I think in life, it's like you got to really define your season so you can determine your rhythm. There's always a new rhythm. There's always a new beat. And it's up to us to define that thing, to specify it.
Yeah.
And nothing really is forever. It comes in seasons, and every season's got a burden.
That's right.
Every season's got a blessing, but there's gold in that season if we'll take the time to mine it out. Last question.
That's good.
For you in your life, Lecrae, successful, amazing, accomplished so much. What's an area in your life right now that you're like, I got to mature in, Rich? The Lord's maturing me in this right now.
What's an area of my life I got to mature in? Man, it's not that I'm thinking hard because I'm so mature.
Where do I start?
Yeah, it's more of where do I begin?
Yeah.
Or what comes to the forefront in area that I'm like, man, Lord, I would say, if I'm being honest, I would just say trust. I'm a high achiever. I'm a getter-doner. I've been able to make it happen. And a lot of times when you are the person who goes, hustle, makes it happen, you don't trust God, right? You do it. And I think if you can look back on your life and say, and know how you got where you are, then it was you, it wasn't God. And I think I need to mature in trusting God and saying, like, God, I'm going to just let you. My wife is so good at it. It bothers me. It kills me because she's just like, the Lord will figure it out. I'm like, but how? How? What do you mean? We got to. And she's like, I just trust the Lord. And I'm just like, oh, kills me. So I know I have to mature in trusting him and trusting his plan and just, God's got it.
I'm the same. God always gives us that what before he gives us the how.
Oh my God.
I'm always like, how?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. Thanks for coming in today. And I also just want to speak over your life in the sense that I just respect you. I appreciate you. I think your story, where you're at today, the fact that you're still here, all that you've faced, all that you've gone through, you have been a forerunner for so many. I actually do believe that in Gen Z right now, we're seeing, I don't have better words for it than revival. I know that word gets thrown around a lot. And I just think that you're a big, huge part of that. The seeds that you've sown in the generation prior, so much of what we're seeing take place all over the world. I don't know if people have given you your flowers for those kind of categories, but I want to say, as someone who's watched you for almost 2 decades now,
That's crazy.
Your faithfulness, your consistency, your honesty, your vulnerability. One of the things I want to say about you that I haven't got to say yet is like your curiosity. That inspires me. I want to be that way. I want to be curious the way that you've been curious. I think that you go across the aisle in so many spaces. You allow people, you put value and respect on folks. And what I'm saying out loud right now, I really believe this, that your latter is going to be greater than your former. Your best years are in front of you. I mean it. I mean it. Thank you for being you. Thanks for taking some time and coming to our little operation over here.
No, thank
you,
The
Mature Me Podcast. This is Lecrae, everybody.
Hey.
It's our greatest guest yet. It's our great. Just keep saying that, you know. We love you guys. There's always a whole lot more coming here on Mature Me. So don't go anywhere and check us back here next Tuesday. God bless.